Hi and welcome to cryptometalresearch.com. This is Jon Hammond with Weekend Wonderings. Today's the 1st of November 2020, and what I thought I'd do is look down at the bull market of gold and whereabouts we are, I believe, in that sort of cycle, and why getting into gold, silver and certain metals is the way forward. Okay, so looking at this chart, what we have here is a basic overview of a bull market. We start off with the smart money, that comes in, the hedge fund managers, people in the know, if you like. There's a stealth phase. Most public retail investors won't be aware of it, but that generates some interest and money into that stock or share, and the big price begins to move, begins to take off, and that's in the first phase. So people get in early. Then, of course, you get institutional investors coming in. After venture capitalists in the stealth phase, the institutional investors will come in, and then the market starts to really take off and people become aware. Then we hit a bit of a sell-off, sometimes known as a bear trap. It retraces maybe 10 to 25, 30%, and that sort of shakes out the weak money, if you like, the weak hands, and people who aren't in it for the long haul, who haven't looked at the fundamentals and understand the marketplace, probably will sell and move on to more shiny things somewhere else. And this bear trap tends to catch out a lot of people, but it's a great buying opportunity, and one which I'll come back to shortly. And I believe we're actually about to enter the bear trap now, so now is the time to be looking at this market. But that opportunity is the last time people get in before the next phase, which is kind of a mania phase as it's known, and that's when you get media attention, you get sort of the public becoming aware, people talking about it in public places like taxis and pubs and bars. People get very greedy, and then we get this parabolic move, which, if you actually analyse the gains, most of the gains in the entire bull market are actually made in probably 15 or 20% of the time, in terms of the last element of time over that time for that marketplace. So greed then comes in. People can see that people have doubled the money, tripled the money, quadrupled the money even in these markets. And then it gets to the stage where people are deluded and they think it's just not going to go down, and it'll just carry on going up in a vertical sort of transition. And it's as you know, this is new. It's things have changed, and it's different this time. All those kind of phrases come out. A new paradigm is kind of the top of this parabolic move and the top of the bull market. Then we tend to get something called a bull trap, where the opposite occurs. We do get a sell-off, but the bullish people just don't believe that it could possibly, it's just a retracement. It's a normal retracement in a bull market, and they pile in again at this level. And that's basically when that happens. Everything's back to normal, we're heading back up. Don't worry, guys. Everything's fine. It's going to hit a new high. You tend to hear that quite a lot at this stage. And that's the last chance saloon, really, because after that it's pretty much a full sell-off, and this can happen extremely quickly. This can wipe out effectively 8-10 years of gains in a few weeks or a couple of months, and we've seen it in stock markets, we've seen it in all markets really, particularly the 2000 tech boom and bust. That was quite a big one, but it's been repeated throughout history. But obviously, like all markets, this is needed. This capitulation is needed and sell-off to then reach a bottom and then start the next bull market, or a sideways move for a period of time. And so that's kind of the overview. And I want to use this to look at the metals markets, particularly the gold market, and by extension the silver market. So we'll use this as a template, if you like, and review that with what we're looking at. Okay, so we've gone through the bull market phases, and I've put that chart onto the graph of gold, and this is the bull market sort of overlay of gold. Now, gold is basically working an 8-year cycle. At the bottom of this chart, going back to 1980, which was the previous high, and that kind of went back through the 70s, where there was a revaluation for gold when Nixon got rid of the gold standard in August 71, and gold was then basically on its own, if you like. It didn't back the dollar. Dollar became a fiat currency, and the market topped in 1980 and then had a bear market and sold off. And at that point, it started in line with the chart on the bull market here. It was kind of went through the despair phase and then found a bottom, up again, and then found another bottom, and that was actually at the US election, and that sort of bottomed out, and then it started to pick up again and then drifted down to another bottom at the next US election. This was actually 2 cycles of elections in the middle of the gold market. There was another election. There was a sort of a low area around that time as well. But then it kind of went right to the bottom and bottomed out at near another US election, and that was actually the bottom for the beginning of the last big bull market run. It was around about $250, and then it ran right up to $1,900 in 2011. And then obviously that was pretty much, as we see on the new paradigm on the bull market chart I went through earlier. And then, of course, we need to look at the bear trap. So the bear trap on the graph of the bull market overview happened here in just over 2008-2009. It was a 35-40% retracement, which is kind of where we are at the moment. We've hit the sort of $2,000 high in the market, and we're pulling back down. I don't think necessarily we could get that deep, but I think this is where we are, which just precedes the biggest parabolic move the gold market has. Now, if you actually view this particular market, and it was the same in 1980, you're looking at around about the $700 level up to $1,900 and odd level. So there's a $1,200 level. So, it's literally a doubling from where we are now. And I think we could be at this kind of level now for the next sort of 1 to 2 years, possibly 3. So it's kind of could certainly double from where we are to sort of 2,000 level to sort of the 4,000-5,000 level. And with the amount of stimulus out there, the possibility is certainly there. So, it's time to be thinking about getting into this market, I think. So let's take a look at the bull trap, which I mentioned. Now, this bull trap here is before it ticks up and then properly drops, and it retraced effectively 50% at that point, and that was again the beginning of where we are now, which is literally the next bull market. It's kind of a sideways move if you look at it to pretty much the beginning of 2019. It started again, but it's had the bottom here. So you could say that sort of the election low in 2016, that point was the kicker for the rise. So this is kind of heading up for this high, which we just had an all-time high at over $2,000. It's retracing back down, and based on the technical analysis and research I've been doing, it doesn't have to, but it could drift down lower, I believe, to sort of around the 1800 level. It could wick down to 1750. We could see a $50 down day at some point this week, and then it's that's the time it's going to start to take off, basically to over the next sort of year or two into this parabolic move, which I believe we're just at the beginning of. And then I think in 23 we're going to have another 30-40% correction before it takes off to some highs which are absolutely crazy, and I don't really want to discuss them at this point because all the calculations point them to being extremely exciting. But what we do at cryptometalresearch.com is we provide portfolios to leverage this price action, not just in gold, but also in silver, because silver is actually leveraged on the price of gold. So the benefits of the returns, we can get a doubling and trebling in the bullion prices, but we can get 10, 50, 100 times prices in mining stocks, and we have a portfolio of those to take advantage of the benefits of this leverage. So this parabolic move, as I mentioned before, comes in the last sort of 10 or 20% in terms of time. It'll be very, very fast, and it's going to happen very shortly. Certainly it's going to start. This low is going to knock out the bottom before it starts to rise again, and that's my belief. Next year into 22, we're going to have one of the strongest, if not the strongest, bullion market rallies we've seen, with all the stimulus that's being printed in America and around the world in fiat currencies, devaluing those currencies. People are going to realise that their currencies are pretty much worthless, and we're going into second and third lockdowns around the world now. This winter is going to be particularly difficult in terms of the pandemic and COVID-19. Although we will come out of it, I'm sure, positively, it's going to take time. It's going to affect businesses, and the economies are going to be absolutely distraught. So the power of bullion, particularly gold, as a store of wealth, a magnet really for fear. People head towards it for that security, and that's going to push the price very, very much higher. And the same with cryptocurrencies, as you know, we've discussed this before. So we are going to see potentially sideways or retracement movement over the next few days and a couple of weeks. I think Trump will probably get back in again. I think there'll be some time before we start the stimulus process. There could be some legal actions with the political problems of the US election that could take some weeks to resolve. That will not give any direction. It will probably cause a sell-off in the markets in the short term to find a bottom. And then when the stimulus happens, I think all markets will take off next year like we've never seen before, and particularly the gold and silver markets, which are going to be a massive opportunity for investors. And we're here to leverage and provide information. So you don't have to do it. We just tell you what to do and when. And that kind of information takes years and years to discover. So check us out and contact us if you need further information. But hopefully that explains my reasoning behind why I think we're about to take off in the bullion markets. At cryptometalresearch.com, we have a number of services to educate and inform you on how to benefit from the financial reset in this massive bull market. We fully expect our portfolio to return multiple double digits in the huge financial reset we're going through. The risks are high, but so are the returns for those with industry connections. We have years of trading experience to support you during your journey. Our services include Crypto Metal Premier, a full done-for-you service for the time poor who see the massive potential of having your assets realigned to benefit from the next big investment boom. We do everything for you so you can sit back, relax and watch your assets appreciate. Crypto Metal Partner, a done-with-you educational service for those who want to be involved and learn how to benefit from this massive opportunity and receive signals of when to get in and out of your positions to maximise your profits. Crypto Metal Portfolio, a do-it-yourself solution so you can learn and apply the portfolio to your investments directly without any support or assistance. Crypto Metal Pulse, a signal service direct to your inbox as and when the market dictates, combining decades of technical analysis trading within your broader crypto metal portfolio. Crypto Metal Personal, a virtual one-to-one for those who want to know more, want to discuss their personal situation and investigate what cryptometalresearch.com's investor education can do for you and your financial wealth.